Alright, so I wanted to do a follow-up video from the original video comparing personal steam inhalers. In the original, we compared the CVS brand to the Mabis brand. I mentioned that I prefer the Mabis brand mainly because it emitted more steam and also because I could incorporate essential oils. I like to use peppermint oil. Now that I've used it for a few months, I just wanted to share some thoughts and a couple of tips I've picked up along the way. First off, as far as efficacy, at the end of the day, the Mabis does work. But what I found interesting was that the old tried and true method of pouring boiling water into a bowl and putting your face over it with a cloth over your head, with adding a couple drops of peppermint oil, actually works better and faster. And for one thing, well, there's a reason why it's been around for all this time. But I looked it up, and scientifically there actually is a good reason, and that's because the Mabis and other inhalers use what they call, emit actually what they call dry steam, and I referred to dry steam in the other video. Dry steam is produced basically when you heat up water to its boiling point and then heat it up further and vaporize it. And what you get is what they call dry steam. Dry steam has very, very little moisture content. In fact, it's less than 0.5%, as opposed to the boiling water steam, which has a lot more moisture content to it. Why does that matter? Well, as far as your sinuses are concerned, that extra moisture that you're putting out there, that's what actually helps to loosen what's up there and get things going and kind of move things around. And so I think that's why it actually, the steam over, with the boiling water tends to work better over the bowl. But like I said, the Mabis does work, and truthfully, it's just not convenient to keep pouring, bowls of water and adding peppermint oil and putting your head over and the cloth and everything. It's just a pain in the butt. So I use the Mabis. It works. You takes a couple minutes to heat up, and then it lasts for a good 6 to 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. I try to make the most of it. This is one trick, which is to actually, you may want to put a book under it or something just to raise it up so that it's you're not straining your neck to bend over to it. And then I use it to just try to meditate or close my eyes, take really deep breaths. And on that note, as far as the deep breaths, initially I was using it for quite a while by sticking my whole face in here. And I realized what was happening is when I emitted my breath, on the return breath after breathing in, I had to exhale. When I was exhaling, that was actually displacing some of the steam that was coming out, so that my next breath in wasn't getting a full amount of steam. So what I started to do was I started putting my lips under here, so that I was breathing out around here and not back into, where the main tube where it's emitting the steam, and that seemed to help quite a bit actually. I also wanted to run through some of the parts real quick. There's actually a diagram that comes with the instructions that's mislabeled. This is one of the water tanks. There's two sides to it, a smaller side and a larger side. The smaller side is actually for extra steam, or actually water condensation buildup, and it's basically not a reserve tank but an outflow tank. This side is used to add your essential oil and water together, and that water is drawn up through this. I can't really see it here, but there's a little hose here. It draws this water in. It also draws water from the main reserve tank. I'll show you that real quick. This usually just pops right off. So this is the top to the main reserve tank. Just unscrews real easily. And this is the main reservoir. It doesn't hold much water. They recommend putting about this much, which is not much at all actually, 25 milliliters I think. Anyway, when it's working, it will draw water from your essential oil tank and this main reservoir tank. It combines it, comes here. That's why, as far as the essential oils, it's not very powerful at all. I tried to do higher ratios of oil to water mixtures in here, but that didn't help that all that much, because if you don't put enough water in here, your total emission of steam, or the total output, isn't as great, because, as I said, it's drawing water from here and here. If you take away one source of water, you're left with, you guys get it. What else can I tell you? And don't get me wrong, I've mentioned quite a few negative things, but at the end of the day, it does work, and it's cheaper than some of the other alternatives. So don't get discouraged just quite yet. I did mention putting it on a book just to raise it up a little bit. I also recommend putting, to the effect that it does work, I keep a box of tissues next to me so I don't have to keep getting up, because it does, after 4 or 5 minutes into it, you do want to, blow your nose. Remember not to pinch too hard, or else you're going to back things up and make your problem worse. But, that is that is a little trick. I am going to demonstrate it for you, just so you guys can see it again. This is, I use peppermint oil. I'm not promoting any brand over one or the other. That's just where it works for me. I use distilled water. I think I mentioned that before, because it avoids calcium buildup. It makes the cleaning process a lot easier. And before I do this, but as far as the cleaning process, when I'm done, I take off the lid, take off the cover, take off this piece, and I essentially just wash everything out. Not so much this every time, this maybe every 10 times, because it's just steam going through there. You don't have to wash this unit, but the essential oils, you give that a good rinse, and this, because this has your mouth on it. And that's why, the cleanup is simple. The whole thing makes it, it's a lot easier than the whole bowl trick. Anyway, let's give this a go. It comes with this little measuring cup, but I'll use it just because, why not? Anyway, you can actually put, I think, up to 4 of these, but you don't need all of it. That's about it. Screw the lid on tight. Make sure you don't move this around. Oh, actually, right after you're finished, be careful if you open this up. There is, still some steam that remains in here. You can get scalded. And obviously, steam has the most energy in it. It's worse than a burn from hot water. Anyway, this is your reservoir tank for the essential oils. A little bit of that in there. Throw a little bit of the peppermint in. It's a lot. This is the little, so you see a little hose. You gotta stick this into the right hand side, and it slides right in like that. Here's your cover. Here's your top. One thing that's pretty convenient and handy, there's a little power cord here with an on-off switch, so you don't have to bend down and everything. Also, it does automatically shut off. You'll get a little warning light here, actually. There's the indicator. I don't know if you can see that. Tip it now. It's not really showing up on here, but it is orange. And you can hear it starting to percolate. What else can I tell you? As far as this piece adjusts, this can be moved up or down. They say there is a preference in terms of whether you're using it for your nose or just for your throat. Some people have mentioned, and it's true, if you keep it too close, this thing does get very, very hot. The steam coming out, I should say, gets very, very hot. It is tolerable, but by keeping this on all the way open, you're letting some cold air hit the steam, which I think actually also helps in terms of adding moisture content. Anyway, I don't know how many minutes it's been, but it definitely takes a couple minutes to heat up. And then it lasts, I would say, 6 or 7 minutes. I'm not going to keep you guys on hold here while it happens, but I'll just wait till it starts coming out so you can see it again. What else can I tell you? I think they still are offering these on sale, and I got it on CVS.com. You can always use coupons with them. That's helpful. I haven't had any problem in terms of people, it's either other units, I can't recall, but people have mentioned like, oh, the plastic is cheap and is that. It's absolutely fine. It's sturdy. It's not breaking. The plastic, tends to show some stress marks. It's no big deal at all. It's not going to affect your use. Just starting to see some traces of it. Maybe if I move it this way, actually, see against the black. Also, I'm going to throw this down just so you can see a bit better. This is getting almost to full throttle, and you can keep your hand over it, and you can see here, my holy hands, but they're not really getting wet. Normally, if you stuck your hand over, and don't do this, but if you stuck your hand at a decent distance from a boiling pot or a cup of tea or that, your hand will eventually get wet. Actually, not eventually, but in a very short time. Whereas I'm keeping this over here now, my hand is completely dry. Nothing. And that's the difference between the dry steam and regular or saturated steam. Anyway, I think you get the point in terms of maximum outflow. It's still superior to all the rest. You guys can't smell it, but I'm smelling the essential oils from here. You give this a good 6 to 7 minutes, blow your nose a couple times in between, and you'll be good to go. Definitely helpful. Anyway, if you have any questions, and I'm sure you may, please feel free to write in the comments. I promise to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks again. I left you guys. I just wanted to add one thing. I don't know if you noticed when I poured that essential oils in, I put quite a bit in. That was way more than a few drops. And this is the first time I've experienced this. I previously just commented about how the essential oils don't come out as strong and blah blah blah. Well, after adding that amount of essential oils, the unit got down to the last. It's now using the last of the water in that essential oils reservoir. I believe it's used up what was in the main tank, and the steam that's coming out now is very strong in terms of the amount of peppermint oil. And in fact, it's so strong that I can't keep my face or nose over it for any length of period of time. So I just discovered something new after months of using this. I'm glad I did the video. If you want it to be a bit more powerful, just add a lot more drops and wait till the very end. Or you can use this reservoir instead. Alright, this time it's a real sign off. Thanks for joining me again. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.